Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Morning. Welcome to Windward Buddhist Temple for our Autumn Equinox Peace Day special service. My name is Matsumoto Shiro, and I will be your MC. We will begin with the ringing of the temple bell, or Kansho, that signifies the beginning of the temple service. It is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition. It is a calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teachings. The temple bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of Windward Buddhist Temple. Please sit quietly in your seat. We will now have the offering of flowers and light. Please rise for the meditation, followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana by the congregation in Pali and English. They can be found in the red Jodo Shinshu service book on page 7.
Sama
Thank you. Please be seated. Reverend Kalu will now lead us in the chanting of the Sun Bujo, which is found on page 9 of the red Jodo Shinshu Service book. Today's sutra is the Juseige, which is a poetic summary of the basic intention of the 48 vows made by the Bodhisattva Dhammakara. This sutra is found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 54. That would be the Juseige.
Seifujo Love
Please rise for the recitation of the Golden Chain of Love found in the Red Jodo Shinshu book on page 126. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love
that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please remain standing for the Gatha at our altar in the brown Praises of the Buddha book on page 16. Reverend Kalu will introduce our guest speaker for today's special service. Reverend?
Good morning, everyone. Today I have the honor of introducing our honored guest speaker for this Ohigan service here at Windward Buddhist Temple, Reverend Eric Matsumoto. Reverend Eric is a native of Kona in the Big Island, coffee country, and in 1983 he was a Crown Prince Akihito scholar and attended Ryokoku University in Kyoto, Japan, graduating with a master's degree in Shin Buddhist studies. And he received his Tokudo ordination after that and full certification as a Jodo Shinshu minister in 1991. He returned to Hawaii in 1992 and joined the mission, Aiea Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii, as an associate minister, first at Betsuin. He then became a resident minister of Honoka'a, Kamuela, Kohala, and Pauilu Hongwanji on the Big Island. And on 2002, he was assigned at Moilili Hongwanji. In 2011, Reverend Matsumoto became the 16th bishop of the Aiea Hongwanji Mission of Hawaii, and he served for 12 years until June of 2023. And he is currently the resident minister of Aiea Hongwanji. Reverend Matsumoto is married to his wife Tamayo, and he has two children, Chika and Kaden. Without further ado, Reverend Matsumoto. よろしくお願いします。
Please join me in Anjali or Kansho for an opening reflection. The universal vow of Amida Buddha, difficult to fathom, is indeed a great vessel bearing across the ocean of birth and death, difficult to cross. The unhindered light of the Buddha is the sun of wisdom, dispersing our ignorance. The auspicious name Namo Amida Butsu and that diamond-like Shinjin endowed awakened mind of true entrusting, so difficult to accept, is true reality that sweeps away doubt and brings us to the attainment of enlightenment with our birth in the Pure Land. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. No. Aloha kako. I'd like to begin my message today, first by dedicating my message today to the 7 great masters of Jodo Shinshu. At Honzang, the autumn Higang service is the time that we pay our respects and reverence to the 7 great masters. And so today I'd like to also dedicate it to the 7 great masters, especially because you are one of the few temples in Hawaii that have a scroll of the 7 masters. And so, thank you. I'd like to begin by sharing with you a story which I found very interesting, and it really touched me. It's a very simple story, but Ryan, I think if he could put up for me just a page from the book, but I'd like to read it. It's entitled The Gift of Nothing by Patrick McDonnell. It's a story about Mooch, a cat, and Earl, a dog. And it goes like this. It was a special day, and Mooch wanted to give his best friend Earl a gift. But what to get him? He had a bowl, he had a bed, he had a chewy toy, he had it all. Mooch thought and thought, what do you get someone who has everything? Nothing. He would give Earl the gift of nothing. But in this world filled with so many somethings, where could he find nothing? Mooch often heard Frank say there was nothing on TV. But as far as Mooch could tell, there was always something on TV. Mooch often heard Doozy say to her friends, there was nothing to do. But as far as Mooch could tell, everybody was always doing something. Millie came home from the store and said there was nothing to buy. So Mooch went shopping. Mooch looked up and down every aisle in the store. He found many, many, many somethings. The latest this, the newest that, but as far as he could tell, nothing was not for sale. So Mooch went home, and not looking for it, he found nothing. So he went and got a box and put nothing in it. Then Mooch thought, maybe Earl deserves more than this. So he got a bigger box. Now, that's plenty of nothing. For me, said Earl. Mooch, you didn't have to give me anything. Who told him? Thought Mooch. Earl opened Mooch's gift. There's nothing here, said Earl. Yes, said Mooch, nothing but me and you. So Mooch and Earl just stayed still and enjoyed nothing and everything. And that's the end of the story. I think it leaves a lot for us to kind of think about, right, and figure out. But as I think we found in our story, Mooch's present to Earl is not a tangible gift or present as we might expect because it was his birthday, I believe, but reaffirming the bond between them, their friendship. Another message in the story, I believe, is that even if you did have everything, in the world, or everything you wanted, perhaps like, Earl had so many things already, it wouldn't be as meaningful if you didn't have someone to share it with. It's when you can share something with someone else that, we're very happy and life becomes meaningful. If you ask me this very simple story, I think for me, it reminded me of Amida Buddha and Jodo Shinshu. When you think about it, Amida Buddha, who's represented in the altar by the image of the Buddha or the written name, Namo Amida Butsu, is like Mooch in the story in that he gives us the gift of nothing. No tangible gift, but an intangible gift that fills our life with awareness, with joy and gratitude. As the last line of the story, in our story went, so Mooch and Earl enjoyed nothing and everything. Amida Buddha, as we all know, doesn't give us material things, like a new car, an iPhone, not even a good job, not even good health, wealth, or luck. Shucks. No. But Amida Buddha does promise me one thing, to always be with us. This is Amida Buddha's promise or vow that no matter what happens, the Buddha will always be with us, for this is the nature to me of great compassion. Amida Buddha as Namo Amida Butsu, the name that calls me to entrust, promises to lead me out of suffering to the perfect peace and happiness of enlightenment. This is the gift of the Buddha Dharma, a gift of strength and courage, guidance and assurance, and eventually perfect tranquility, freedom, and peace. As Shin Shonin wrote in a poem, quote, countless Amida Buddhas reside in the light of the Buddha of unhindered light. Each one of these transformed Buddhas protects the person of true and real Shinjin, the endowed awakened mind of true and trusting. End quote. I know we're all happy when we get something, a present, a gift, whether it be our birthday or, or during the holiday season. No doubt about that. Me too. But there is something I think that I would like for us to think about today something we shouldn't forget or maybe take for granted, as well, I many times do it, but is that we have family, friends, a community that cares about us, that thinks about us, and so forth. This is probably the bigger, more meaningful gift that we're all receiving already. We can momentarily be happy about receiving a birthday or a holiday gift, but what is it that makes us really feel safe, secure, and allows us to maybe even really be happy when we get a present or a gift? Yeah. I think it's because below that, or as a foundation, we already have this gift of so many people thinking and caring about us. And the real happiness here is to be loved, to be cared for, to feel protected and safe. As we feel happy about receiving a present or a gift, let's also not forget to be appreciative of the person loving me, caring me. For without loving family and friends, it would be very lonely, sad, maybe even scary. So to have someone who promises to always love you is, to me, the foundation of a meaningful life. Most of us are very fortunate. We have loving family and friends, but there are so many others in the world, right, who don't. And not only people, but even animals, right? I mean, we see we see those not commercials, but on television, where animals have been abused or abandoned and they have no home, and so forth. In this way, having someone to kind of say, I'm here for you. It may not seem like much, but I believe it is. Yeah. This is what Amida Buddha promises. Amida Buddha is the name of the Buddha that we revere in Hongwanji. And according to the great master Shantao of China, he said the Buddha is named Amida because this Buddha embraces, never to forsake. That's the essence of why this Buddha is named Amida. Buddha is saying, even if the whole world turns upside down and turns its back on you, I will always love you and promise to lead you to enlightenment. That's why I think Shinran Shonin was able to say something as bold as, quote, such is the benevolence of Amida's great compassion, that we must return it even to the breaking of our bodies. Such is the benevolence of the masters and true teachers, that we must endeavor to repay it even to our bones becoming dust, end quote. Not something you can say very easily, I think. Amida Buddha as Namo Amida Butsu is the most reliable and ultimate gift. The gift by which, by the way, includes everyone and everything. It's the gift that supports us in the here and now as we live day to day amidst the trials and tribulations that we encounter every day. And also in the future when we attain birth in the Pure Land at the end of this finite life. And even beyond as we return to this world of samsara from the Pure Land of enlightenment as an enlightened being or bodhisattva to help others. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking of a Jataka tale. If Ryan, you could show the cover of this Jataka tale entitled The Courageous Captain. Now, to be clear, Jataka tales are stories related to Shakyamuni Buddha, the historic Buddha. Leading the virtuous things that he did leading up to the Buddha's enlightenment, and technically not about Amida Buddha. But this story, for me, kind of really resonated in that I thought about Amida Buddha. And so for that reason, I'd like to kind of share this Jataka tale with you today. This particular story is about a ship's captain who never once lost his way as he sailed the oceans. By day, he could tell exactly where he was by watching the waves, the shape of the coastline, and different kinds of fish and birds that flew about. By night, he followed the stars and the moon, kind of similar in many ways to the Hawaiians of old. It reminds me of the Hokulea and its crew and their wish to unite the world. But getting back to our Jataka tale, the captain was wise, strong, and determined. Every sailor wanted to be like him. He had a long, illustrious career as a captain, but the captain grew old and one day decided to retire. However, one day, 2 traders came to see him and begged him to come on a voyage. They wanted to travel to the land of gold. They told him, "We don't expect you to work at all. We don't even expect you to give us advice. You just being with us will bring us good luck," they said. The captain kind of paused, but because they were so eager, he decided to join them. And so they set sail. They soon found themselves in deep waters. In fact, they sailed so far out into the ocean that they couldn't see the shoreline anymore. Suddenly, the wind started blowing, and soon they were caught in a storm. Huge black clouds swirled in the sky along with the roar of thunder and lightning. The waves were like mountains, and the ship rocked back and forth and trembled throughout the night. brave captain comforted them, saying, "Storms are natural when you cross the great ocean. Fear is never conquered by despair, but by confidence and wisdom. Make your minds firm and take control of the ship before you're blown further into uncharted waters." But the crew was unable to control the ship. Now the waves changed. They found themselves in a silver sea. The sea was beautiful, a beautiful silver, and it seemed to be bubbling with joy. They were mesmerized by the sparkling waters that the crew just let the ship be blown more off course. Then a sailor said, "The waves are a beautiful golden red. This must be a good sign." But the courageous captain knew better and urged the crew to once again put their effort into turning back the ship. But they did not. Now the sea was emerald green, the most beautiful sea of all. But a compassionate captain knew better. He knew that they were in the greatest danger ever. For the sake of the crew, he stood on the deck of the ship, threw his coat across his shoulder, and spoke aloud to the sea and sky. In all my 90 years, I cannot recall even one instant of having harmed any living being. May this repeated kindness now show forth its great power and turn this ship safely around. So great was the power of the captain's pure actions, so great the goodness of his heart, that he could take control of his fate and even that of others. The sea grew quiet and friendly. The wind changed directions to blow them back from where they came. Seeing the ship turn, the young, inexperienced crew rejoiced. The captain instructed the crew to cast their nets and load the ship with sand and rocks. Though the crew thought it was a strange request, they did as asked. When the ship finally reached the harbor safely, they offered the captain their thanks, for though they had not reached the land of gold as they had originally hoped, they did return with their lives. When the crew unloaded the ship, to their surprise, they found that the sand and rocks had turned into treasure. "Oh, Captain," exclaimed the youngest sailor, "how foolish we were to rely upon good luck." The captain knew the secret to success, that good actions guarantee good results. Rely upon kindness, wisdom, and courage in all that you do. End quote. Or end of the quotes from the story. When I read this story, I couldn't help again but be reminded of Amida Buddha. The courageous captain in this story is like Bodhisattva Dhammakara, who eventually becomes Amida Buddha. The captain doesn't promise the traders, gold and silver and the like. Rather, his most important gift is the gift of wisdom, the gift of compassion, courage, and guidance that he provides the crew, and the fact that he saved them. Unfortunately, early in our story, the crew was unable to carry out the captain's repeated request to turn the ship back, blinded by what they saw on the surface of the ocean. We are like those traders and sailors. We are many times blinded by what we see in samsara, including our negative feelings, thoughts, and emotions. Amida Buddha is like the captain who didn't give up on the crew and instead, with the heart of great compassion, decided to save them all by sharing the virtues that he had gained throughout his life as captain. The captain unselfishly shared the virtues with the entire crew, and thus the crew was able to safely arrive back at home port. And to me, this is what Amida Buddha does. In the larger Sukhavati Vyuha Sutra, it says about the Bodhisattva Dhammakara, quote, "He did not harbor any thought of greed and hatred. He was unattached, possessed of a power to persevere. Having little desire for his own sake, he knew contentment. His wisdom was unobstructable and his mind free of falsehood and deceit. Courageous and diligent and tiring, he devoted himself solely to the pursuit of the Dharma, thereby benefiting a multitude of beings, end quote. Amida Buddha, like the good captain, doesn't abandon us and instead embraces us with great compassion. Like the crew in the story, we or I, the Bombu, this foolish being, am not saved by my own efforts, but the great effort, virtue of Amida Buddha. At this time, I'd like for you to take a quick look at a painting of the Pure Land. Amida Buddha's pure action can turn our ship of life around and make it safely sail to our spiritual home port, the Pure Land of Enlightenment, or Ohigan. I invite you later to take a closer look at this poster, painting, and before you leave today. It represents, again, the Pure Land of Enlightenment, the other shore, Higang, which is the essence of today's special, major service. As a side note, I'd like to share a personal interpretation, a thought that I had. We might wonder, why is Amida Buddha's Pure Land described in the way it is, with descriptions of gold and silver, precious jewels, and cool, refreshing pools of water, with majestic pavilions and palaces? Well, back in India 2,600 years ago, probably, like in many other cultures, things like gold and precious stones and so forth were considered the most valuable things, around. However, after traveling to India in 1998, to me, another reason that I think it's very reasonable to assume that is that it spoke to the great masses of people. Sadly, even to this day, the vast majority of people who live in India live in dire poverty. Before going to India and seeing places like the slums of Calcutta and the very rural countryside, my mind could not even imagine that kind of poverty. Mind you, I only looked at it. I didn't live in it. You really do have to see it to kind of understand. It's really, from our perspective today, our life here, it's kind of unimaginable. But that is the life of many people in India. To me, the grand descriptions of Amida's Pure Land is nirvana, enlightenment, being described in a way that the average person could understand, or maybe more importantly, relate to, and aspire for. If you're struggling just to live from day to day or even from meal to meal, wouldn't you thoughts kind of dwell on how nice it would be to be rich, having clean water, all the food you can eat, and so forth? I think the Pure Land teachings and the way the Pure Land is described gave people hope, something to look forward to, so they wouldn't give up on living this life. We all need hope to live. And this hope is not a false hope. Just like our captain, Amida Buddha, made the vows and the effort to make it all true and real for us. Again, we don't rely on our own efforts to attain enlightenment in Jodo Shinshu. We entrust ourselves to the power of the Buddha's vow, just as the sailors in our story were saved by the great virtue of the captain. It was the captain's wisdom, compassion, and courage that saved the crew. And in the end, even though they didn't reach their original destination, which of course was not important anymore, the crew profusely thanked the captain, for he had saved that was most important, their life. This is what Amida Buddha does for us too. The Buddha, again, doesn't provide us with materialistic benefits, likened to our crews wanting to reach the land of gold, or the material present that Mooch was thinking of buying for Earl, but makes us realize the value, the preciousness of life that we're living right now. Despite these ups and downs, like the rough seas in our stories, but Amida Buddha always protects, guides, and cares for us, and shares about the nobility of an enlightened life. As one of our gathas, and one of my favorite for a long time was Quest of Life, says, let us seek life. Let us seek life in Amida's pure land. Faith in the Buddha's compassionate self assure us all infinite life. Renyo Shonin, the eighth spiritual leader of our Hongwanji, shared, quote, the true treasure of Jodo Shinshu Hongwanji is Namo Amida Butsu. We may tire of even the best worldly treasures, but we never tire of Amida's great compassion, which brings us much joy. The most precious treasure is Namo Amida Butsu, which cannot be lost to even fire. How grateful for Amida's boundless compassion, end quote. Buddhism shares with us the wisdom and compassion of enlightenment. It doesn't make our problems disappear, but the Dharma does provide us with guidance and insight, assurance and comfort. It enables us to reflect and, I think, remain a little calmer as we tackle life's challenges, and ultimately will provide us with the ultimate solution. This is also an important point to understand. Buddhist teachings are aiming for the ultimate solution to suffering and sorrow. On the other hand, we many times, like I did too, for a long time, are looking for a temporal solution for curing perhaps an illness or addressing one challenge at a time. But Buddhism is providing us with a permanent solution to the end of suffering, once and for all. Amida Buddha's promise is that no one will be excluded from this remedy or solution. That is Amida Buddha as Namo Amida Butsu, the Buddha's name which calls us to entrust. When Namo Amida Butsu becomes a part of our life, we are guided by the wisdom of enlightenment, assured by great compassion, and encouraged to live with the Dharma as our guide, not because we have to or because we're being told to do so, but to me, it's out of responding in gratitude to the Buddha's love and compassion. May we fully, as best we can, assured by great compassion and by going to the Dharma for guidance, both live and die with strength and courage from within, regardless of the time, place, or situation. This is the gift of Namo Amida Butsu, which Shin Shonin shared. Our life can be good, our life can be challenging, we may even have to face tremendous odds, but one thing is for sure, Namo Amida Butsu is always right here with us, literally now and forever, for again, this is the nature of great compassion. I'd like to conclude my message today by wishing that you all will, or actually, we all will, including me, as we would say in Hawaii, kako, all of us together, that more than ever, we will recite the Nembutsu in awareness, joy, and gratitude of great wisdom and compassion. Please join me in Kansho for a closing reflection. I'd like to share a hymn by Shin Shonin. Amida Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, and Mahastama Prapta, the Bodhisattva of wisdom, ride on the ship of Amida Buddha's great vow. Going out on the ocean of birth and death, they call to all sentient beings and bring them on board the ship of great compassion. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Mahalo nui.
Thank you, Reverend. I know that a gift of nothing is a great thing, but I think Jet's birthday is coming up and he's looking for a gift of something. So let's rise for the Gatha, May Peace Prevail, in the purple WBT supplemental book, page 19, May Peace Prevail. Please remain standing for the Nembutsu.
Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Peace comes from within. Don't seek it outside of yourselves. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Ando, Namo Ando.
Thank you very much. This ends our service for today. We have announcements by Dennis.
Good morning, everyone. Here it is, middle of September. The year is going by so fast, yeah? Okay, thank you, Reverend Eric, for that interesting message of nothingness. A gift of nothing is something. It's whose birthday coming up? Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Saul. Thank you, Merle, for being our MC. Bob, for being our, Joyce actually was the greeter. Joy for playing the piano. And of course, Ryan for recording this service. As far as announcements, what's coming up is the annual Ring Your Bells for Peace Day. It'll be held Friday, September 20th. The event is to promote Peace Day in Hawaii and International Day of Peace through the official date is September 21st every year. It has been held Friday to allow school children to join in the bell ringing. We gather here at the temple and ring the Kansho, while hundreds of other people also ring their bells via Zoom. Please join us here at the temple Friday at 8:30 a.m. There will be a program from about 8:30 to 9 o'clock with entertainment, including Jake Shimabukuro, Hawaii's ambassador for peace. At 9 a.m., there will be a minute of silence, and then at 9:01, everyone will start ringing the bell for 5 minutes. If you'd like to ring the Kansho here, please come to the temple and arrive here sometime before 9 o'clock. This Friday evening, there will be a free twilight concert at the Foster Botanical Garden to honor the life of Mary Mikahala Foster. It'll be from 5 to 6:30. Mary Foster was a great friend of the Hongwanji early last century. She did much to support Buddhism in Hawaii and around the world. Performance at the concert include slack key guitar music, hula dancing, taiko drumming, and sanshin music. It's Okinawan shamisen. For more information, there's a flyer on the bulletin board. Next Sunday will be our monthly remembrance service. If you would like to remember a loved one who passed away in the month of August or September of any year, you may do so during the remembrance service. Please add your name of your loved one to the list at the greeters table. If you have a picture of your loved one, please bring it to the service. Reverend Saul will be leading the service and provide a Dharma message. We are co-sponsoring the 4th annual Windward Mall Bone Dance on Saturday, October 5, 2024. The event has been well attended and enjoyed by dancers, observers, and even shoppers. The event is also a great fundraiser for us. We'll be needing volunteers to help prepare and cook handaki. There's a sign-up sheet on the table in the back. Your volunteering will be greatly appreciated. The fall adult Dharma classes here at Windward Buddhist Temple will start up Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and will run for about 10, maybe 12 weeks. The instructor again is Bert Sumikawa. The sign-up sheet is on the back table. Now, save a date. Windward Buddhist Temple will be having an annual dinner and movie night. So mark your calendar for October 26th, that's a Saturday, at 5:30. We'll start with dinner, and the movie will start right after that. The movie Inside Out 2 came out just a few months ago, and there was, in a sense, some good reviews about it. So it should be a good movie for young and young at heart. Okay. Let's see. We'll get you more information as we get closer. Our service today was also to promote Peace Day. So after refreshments today, some of us will be visiting businesses along Kule Road and passing out Peace Day cranes like this to promote the Peace Day in Hawaii and International Day of Peace. If you want to join us, just join us. Just tag along, grab a few of the cranes that's in the back, and we'll be handing them out. Next announcement, Joy.
We got another car wash coming up. So, so next week, Sunday, my Kailua Key Clubbers will be here from 11. Maybe catch kind of the tail end of anyone who's here for refreshments. They'll be here from 11 to 2. So if you'd like your car washed, wouldn't mind making a donation to our Key Club, which is they're raising funds to help offset conference fees and also any costs associated with service projects. Our club, our Kiwanis Club sponsors not just Kailua, but also Kalaheo, Castle, and McKinley Key Clubs and King Intermediate Builders. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because Neil is the Kalaheo Key Club advisor, and they scheduled a competing car wash the day before. So we scheduled ours first, but theirs is 9 to 12 on the Saturday, but the day before at the First Assembly of God, which I think is right by Kalaheo High School. Right behind you. So if you have, 2 cars, and you wouldn't mind splitting it, anyway, Neil and his kids will be there on Saturday, and we'll be here on Sunday. And I just want to mention Reverend Eric, always nice seeing him. He was my first minister advisor for Junior Waibe as I was transitioning from a member to an advisor. And many years later, I became I was advisor to his kids, both of his kids, and so it was fun all those years as Bishop Dad. So thank you very much.
Hopefully this year's car wash won't include rain. If you remember last year. Okay. Sorry to say that we won't be having bingo today, so it's a busy day. Also, temple cleaning will not be today. We'll decide whether we'll do it either next week or later. Okay? Any other announcements? If not, it's time to have refreshments. So let's do words of thanksgiving, found on page 126 of the Red Service book. There went my Nanju. Anyway, I'll say words of thanksgiving. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you, everyone.